lovely people, Nina here. So this week I had a different video planned and I was going to talk about the Sunny Days, the book on Sesame Street and public television children's shows. And I've also been watching everything for a long time, but especially now, everything that's been happening in Palestine and Gaza, and I can't sit here and make a different video knowing what's happening, and I can't not talk about it. And so instead this week I'm choosing to talk about Palestine because it's so important, and the fact that there are millions of people who desperately need food and aid and water, and Israel is not letting it through, and it's blocked at the borders, and there's a forced starvation of children and families, and it's so upsetting. And they need to let this through, and the US is complicit by giving Israel money and sending them weapons. It's so upsetting. So this is my video this week. This is your urgent message to please call your representatives, call your congressmen, let them know that this is urgent and that the US needs to be telling Israel that they need to let this aid through, and they need to not let all of these Palestinian families and children be starved to death. It's so horrible to be watching, and so I figured I would talk about a few books that I have on Palestine. I've talked about a few of these before, but if you haven't seen any of my content, then this will be new, and I talk about everything that's been happening. So this is Salt Houses by a Palestinian American author, and it follows, I think it starts on the one girl's wedding day. Yeah, her daughter Alia's wedding. Salma reads the girl's future in a cup of coffee dregs. And it follows like the different family members, and it goes back and forth, and it follows the displacement from their land because of the ongoing war and ongoing conflict. And so that's kind of the premise of this. This is my mom's copy, and she said I would really like it. And so there's this one if you want historical fiction. I would suggest Salt Houses. So there's that one. And then I have graphic novels. This is Palestine by Joe Sacco, and this is a history, also a first-hand account of his I think he says like, I say graphic novel, but I think he says cartoon maybe, but I would say graphic novel form, and it's history of Palestine, and like Palestinian people, and also his first-hand account of like being there and just seeing it, and so there's that one, which is really interesting. I also have another one of his, which is Footnotes in Gaza. This one I saw on he was on Art Spiegelman's documentary, and I saw him talking about this, and I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. And this is more current. This is from, I'll tell you the publication date, 2009. So this one he did first, and then he did this one, Footnotes in Gaza, and this is again his first-hand account, and this talks about Rafah and the Gaza Strip specifically, and so there's that one. Both really interesting, and the drawings and the graphics in it are really well done and really cool looking. So yeah, these are two graphic novels. I recently read On Tyranny, and one of the lessons in On Tyranny is like basically reading and educating yourself on everything that's happening and following accurate news sources. And so I follow places like UNICEF, which is has a massive, if you don't know what UNICEF is, but aid organization that I've followed for years and years and years and years and years. I love them. They help multiple countries get things like food, aid, education, what have you. Just an amazing humanitarian group. Also the UNRWA, which is the United Nations for Agency for Palestinian Refugees. I follow them. They're also currently in Palestine. And they've been posting about how they literally don't have aid anymore. They are like on like the bare minimum. Everything's like out. They don't have any food, and they don't even have had a whole thing. They don't even have like bandages. And Israel is still bombing places too. So not only are they being starved to death because they're not letting food in, they're also not letting aid in, but they're still bombing places. So it's just really awful. Yeah. I also follow two pretty famous journalists that have been there, which are Bisan and Hind, and they've been reporting on everything that's been happening there. There's also other organizations that are there, like Doctors Without Borders, who have been posting about how they are stuck because there's, again, no aid coming in and they won't let aid through, and all these people are suffering. Millions of people are suffering because of it. One of the other books that I have is The 100-Year War in Palestine, which is just a book. This has been floating around the internet and like BookTok for a while, but it's a book on the history of Palestine, and I've also been currently reading this. Very good, very informative, really important to be reading about what's happening and educating ourselves and following accurate news sources on everything that's been happening. Yeah. One of the last ones that I was going to recommend or talk about is this, and you're like, this is a little bit weird, like why? It is a vegan cookbook by a vegan chef named Max Lamana, who I have followed for years and years. I love him, and I use this cookbook at least like every day, or most days. I use it all the time. As you can tell, it's very worn through and grubby on the pages because I cook with it. I love him, and right now he is doing a hunger strike for Palestine to raise awareness and calling out leaders to step up and do something about the starving people in Palestine. So he's currently hunger striking, and I feel like it's really important, and I will link him down below so you can follow along with that as well. And he is a very famous chef. He has millions of followers, and so the fact that he's raising awareness like this is really amazing, and I feel like it is important now. If you are a large creator and you have a large platform, speak out. It's now more important than ever, and if you haven't said anything yet, then you need to be speaking out. And I also say that if these creators don't want to speak out and they're not going to speak out, us as like individuals have the power to not follow them. Not follow artists and not follow creators that aren't going to speak out. If they are given the chance and they decide to, that's great. If they are not going to speak out on this, as we are watching millions of people being starved to death, it's not a political issue, it's a humanitarian issue. These are children, these are families. I think it's okay to just not follow them and block them, because there's no time to waste, and this is so important, and it's such a major issue. There's a lot to like cover with this, but these are all the books that I would suggest for you to look at and to read, and I will put more sources down below of places that you can go to get more information and to get accurate information. And yeah, I'll leave that all in the link below. I also recommend, and Max Lamana has recommended, boycotting, calling in grocery stores and telling them to boycott Israeli food products. And I think like that's really important. Again, contact your congressman, contact your representatives, write to the White House, tell them that they need to be letting aid in and they need to be letting food in for these people so they don't starve to death. Millions of people. It's so inhumane and it's so awful. Yeah, that is it for this week's video. Please do what you can. Donate to places like UNICEF or UNRWA or Doctors Without Borders. All are really great organizations. All have been on the ground helping as much as they can with what little they can. And yeah. I love you all, and as always, free Palestine.